Eritrea has reopened its embassy in Ethiopia as the former rivals continue to mend relations. Eritrea's President Isaias Afwerki raised the flag at the new embassy with Ethiopia's Prime Minister. The two leaders toured the building, including the dust-covered cars that belonged to the last Eritrean ambassador. The reopening is being hailed as yet another milestone in the thawing of relations. Just last week, the country signed a deal to end 20 years of conflict.
Dear people of Ethiopia and Eritrea, I would like to bow down and humbly thank you because you choose compassion, not cruelty, peace, not conflict, love, not hatred, forgiveness from skirmish, pulling each other, not pushing one another.
We should not allow anyone to disturb our love and agreement. We should not allow anyone to attack our calmness and development.
Well, Mohammed Ademo is a journalist and the founder of opride.com, an independent news site about Ethiopia. He joins me now from Addis Ababa. Good to have you with us. So clearly this is being hailed as a major milestone in relations between the two countries. We know that hostilities started 2 decades ago because of a border war. Does this mean that that has now all been formally resolved?
Yes, absolutely. I think the opening of the embassy today marks yet another landmark moment in this process where it signals that the two leaders are serious about opening up and leaving the old chapter of hostility behind. But I think, of course, there are a lot of issues that are yet to be worked out, and we don't have all the details of what the two leaders have agreed to. But this is another major step in the right direction.
And I know that Ethiopia was basically landlocked during the dispute. How has these poor relations affected both the countries?
I think the more obviously Ethiopia is a landlocked country. Assab and Mazawa are two of the closest ports and access to the sea for Ethiopia. This has affected the economy greatly. It made Ethiopia largely dependent on Eritrea, almost exclusively dependent on Djibouti, forgive me. And now, as you've noted there, the Prime Minister in his short tenure of a little bit over 100 days has made it a priority to gain more access to the sea, to give Ethiopia more options to the sea. He's traveled to Djibouti, invested in the port there. He traveled to Somalia, invested or signed a deal to invest in ports there. The same approach in Sudan and Kenya as well. But by far, the port of Assab is the closest access to the sea for this country, and the resumption of relations between the two countries, Eritrea and Ethiopia, gives Ethiopia yet another access, another options, and it will reduce Ethiopia's exclusive dependence on Djibouti.
So what's been the atmosphere in Ethiopia there? Is there a lot of optimism now about how relations will progress?
Yes, absolutely. I myself just returned from exile after nearly 16 years, and the mood here is euphoric, and there is a great deal of hope in this country. There's a great deal of optimism in this country, but with the resumption or the rapprochement, I think the most critical element here is the human element. The two nations, the two countries are tied culturally, historically, also by blood. And a lot of families have been cut apart for 20 years. Now with the resumption of flights, direct flights from Addis Ababa to Asmara, hopefully this week, as early as tomorrow, I think some of those families who have been cut off for so long can meet and embrace again. And earlier this week, the two countries opened up the telephone line. That was really remarkable, with the strangers calling each other from both sides to congratulate each other. Yesterday, when the president of Eritrea arrived, literally there were thousands of people, and people on horseback riding into the streets, and it is nothing like it seems like a revolution here, and people are extremely happy with with the resumption of the relationship or approachment between the two countries.
It's great to hear. It's good to hear that that you're so positive about it and that you've managed to return to Ethiopia. Mohammed, thank you very much indeed for speaking with us. Mohammed Ademo there.